Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We are live from the studios of Dilate Digital in Fremantle. It's a pleasure to be with you all. Thank you for joining. I'm Chris, part of the Murdoch Business Alumni Network, and this series is all about cutting through the hype and talking about what it really takes to build a business. It's easy to see business success stories on Instagram and think it's all smooth sailing. But the truth is there are plenty of bumps, pivots, and lessons along the way. We've designed this as more of a relaxed chat, so expect honesty, real talk, and some great advice that you can take away. And I guess a heads up that we have a lot to get through. And I've met Alex, and I know we're probably just going to talk. So we may run over by the 30 minutes that we've scheduled in, maybe an extra half an hour. But if you need to jump off, no worries, go for it. We're recording the session. It will be available afterwards, so you can catch up on anything that you might miss. I'm thrilled to welcome our guest, Alex Paioff. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Alex is the founder and managing director of Made in the Pile Agency and co-owner of Jack Rabbit Slims. He's launched festivals, managed major brand campaigns, and built a creative business from the ground up. Alex, thanks again for being here.
So stoked, especially for the first one to be called in. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. We'll get stuck straight in with our first question. So we'll start at the very beginning.
Cool.
Tell us how it all began. What inspired you to start your own business?
That is a hilarious story that I haven't resurfaced for a while, apart from when we were chatting the other day. So I grew up in a family of people who started their own businesses. My granddad, my dad. So very much had that in mind when I was growing up. Knew I wanted to do something, didn't know what it was. I was at uni studying engineering and commerce with marketing, entrepreneurship, and what was the other major? God, can't even remember. I didn't graduate, by the way, so that's why I can't remember. And at uni, we started throwing events and being part of that scene. And one of my friends at the time, we were 21, he went to have his 21st birthday at Villa nightclub. And so we called Villa. I said, hey, can we book this venue for a 21st? And they said, get out, you need to have an ABN to do that. Damn, indeed. So I called my mate, was like, all right, let's buy an ABN. Let's set something up. Let's come up with a name. So came up with a name, purchased ABN, got started, called back Villa. All right, ready to book the venue.
Name of that was?
It was Metric Promotions at the time.
Awesome. Very good.
There was yeah, we'll get in there, I reckon. And so I called Villa back. Apparently just having an ABN wasn't enough this time as well.
Right.
Had to actually be legitimate event promoters, but we just spent this $500 on an ABN and had some experience. So we thought we may as well make the most of it. So we started, we ran a boat party and started doing different events and such through that.
Awesome.
But that was what started it all. And there's been lots of sort of spin-off businesses and parts through all that as we grew and discovered things and parted ways and which else as well, but not a really clear insight when we started apart from that, but we got pretty serious after that with how we had to approach things.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Love hearing about those defining moments. Was there a particular risk, lesson, or turning point that shifted things for you, or I guess changed the way that you do things at all?
Yeah. I guess, should I kind of chart a little bit more forward as well with the how we were approaching things a bit differently? No, we'll go with the lessons and the turning point. So things started off well. We tried to make sure that whatever event we threw was different, and this will kind of go into the lessons, I suppose. The first series of events we did was called Last Call, and what people needed to do was register by messaging a mobile number, and we used to send out the event location on the day, and it got super cheap tickets if you had registered that way, and it was basically too expensive if you didn't do it that way.
Right.
It failed. And all through everything, we really tried to approach the events that we did in a different way. I think at the time in nightclubs, people were wearing leather shoes, they were wearing collared shirts.
Brings back memories.
Oh, it was a time. I can't believe it. And we were there with expensive sneakers that cost you more than what that was, expensive streetwear.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't permitted into nightclubs.
Yeah.
And we
like
thought it was
early
ridiculous.
2010s, right? Movie. Yeah.
Exactly that. Exactly. 2000 and must have been 2009, 10, around that period. So we set out to change that. Yeah. And I guess that was one lesson, was trying to make sure that there was a demand and thinking about how to approach that and what people are wanting and needing. But I guess pivotal moments, there were two. One massive moment was the event business started taking off. We were probably in our third year of uni at the time. We had at that point 2 or 3 weekly club events, bigger touring events that we were running, and I believe we'd started our first music festival at the time as well, which was actually down the road at Frio Arts Centre. And we had to make a call, like, were we going to stay studying at uni, or were we going to pursue what we were doing in the moment, given the trajectory it was on? And we all did leave uni at the time. We moved into a warehouse and decided to chase the dream as much as we could. So there was a hard decision to make. There was I was the first from my family to go to uni. So there was a bit of, they never applied pressure, I would say, but maybe expectation would be the better word.
Yeah.
So,
well, I was going to ask if there was any like influencing voices around, because obviously you're very young, right? At that time,
21 was when we got the ABN. Yeah.
Right. I imagine, like, I picture myself at that age. It's like you're young, you know what I mean, and you're just thinking probably in certain times, like, what am I doing? So was there people that influenced you as well towards a certain thing, or?
Yeah, my granddad was very entrepreneurial.
Yeah. Cool.
So he was chase the dream, go for it. And my parents definitely that tilted, but would have preferred me to stay in uni. But I was very confident in the gap that I saw that we were delivering in. There was a reason why we went from a singular club event after a few failures, and then we're able to build on that the way we did.
Yeah.
I remember leaving uni, selling my car to fund the first festival that we did, because it needed to pay deposits for artists that we didn't have cash for, and I just believed in what we were doing, and I loved that car. It was a different version of me, but
what car was it?
It was an orange XR6 Turbo.
Oh,
black pinstripes, black spoiler.
Probably worth a lot today.
Yeah, they stopped making them. So I remember selling that to chase the dream as well, and I think that's sort of your point about external voices and influences is an interesting one, because no one is going to care as much or consider as much as you are. And if you hold a particular insight, it can be hard to make sure everybody sees it that way. So I think there needs to be a belief in yourself, a belief in what you see. Not there shouldn't be no evidence to support your belief, like not irrational in any way, but you really should back yourself and your internal voice and the way that you go with that, for sure.
Perfect. I think you mentioned there was a second lesson or turning point.
Yes.
I think I know what it might be.
So a bit more of the journey, and then we'll jump into that. So events doing well. Kept expanding and growing. Got to the point where we had 5 maybe weekly club events. We're doing 3 different branded festivals, boutique festivals, between sort of the 4,000 and 8,000 mark. We'd made a video clip for Skrillex. We met him through a tour, an event that we did, and ended up making a video that led to more videos for music artists. That led to getting funding from Warner Music to start a record label. We at that time also had a digital magazine that was new. This is crazy how old I feel. Instagram wasn't really a thing. It was just starting to be a thing. And Apple had launched the newsstand. So we decided to launch a digital first magazine, because most of the digital magazines at the time were just PDF rips. But we were like, hey, we could have video playing in stream. And when you're reading a band interview, you could play the track as you're reading the interview through the magazine. So we really tried to go hard at the newsstand as well. So I'll circle back to that and give two kind of lessons. So we had at that point, with the record label, with the media entity, with the events, with everything else that was going on, we'd grown to a size of about 46 staff.
Nice.
I was 26 at the time.
Yeah.
No idea what I was doing. Had only really had wins for the most part. And that was the sort of the big moment where things got real tough.
Yeah.
So earlier lesson, we'll go back to the climax moment in a second. Newsstand didn't work on Apple. They ultimately did abandon it as a placement, but people just weren't interested in paying for a magazine and downloading it and having all that delay. So we pivoted to an editorial focused website and YouTube focused channel and made all those changes. So being ready to adapt and respond based on what happens, and not being bullish or blindsided by what you think people should be experiencing from what you're giving, and receiving that feedback and making changes. That's definitely an important lesson. But at the culmination of that, at 26, we were doing so much, it was becoming unmanageable. There were split focuses everywhere. It was hard to give any one of those business units the exact love that it needed. And I had no experience sort of managing teams and building, standard operating procedures or anything like that becomes very critical anytime you grow past really 20 to 25 staff. You think you were just, how was that? Like, were you spreading yourself too thin? Did you not have the right people around you maybe? How was that? Spreading thin is probably the right answer. I'd say the team that we had were great. Everyone was giving everything they could. Really believed in what we were trying to achieve. But there was a string of events that all happened at once. So we had our first major loss at a festival and lost about 350 grand. The club events, where there were about 5 to 7 weekly club events, they dropped down over the space of 3 months to basically no attendance. The media arm had always been a bit of a loss leader that we were building at the time as well. And we just sort of started this internal agency to do work outside of what we were doing for ourselves. We realized that at that point, the motivation for starting the agency, we'd been making content, building brands, multiple brands, and doing this all digitally. I was building ads myself. And so we felt that there was this gap in the marketing space at the time. But we ended up losing $1 million over the space of must have been 3 to 6 months all at once. Right. And that's mainly because I was going to ask just because ignorance on my part, what does major loss look like in the event space? Like, is it just that you put up a lot of money for this big event that no one comes to? Like, is that that's exactly it. It's hilarious. People think festivals are milking the cash and making lots of profit. But the reality is the break-even point for a music festival is actually quite high. Right. You're looking at maybe a 80% or between 70 and 85% of the attendance target to get to a break-even. Right. And that 15%, if you get to your capacity or your target ideal upper limit, you do make considerable profit. So it's like a consistency game. You need to be doing it consistently good or thereabouts for a long time. Yeah, and we had steadily grown. So 3,000 at the first festival, 4,000 at the next, 6,000 at the next, then got to 12,000 at sort of one of the bigger ones, and expected a 12,000 attendance again. booked it's artist bookings is a whole nother set of challenges with that stuff. People, I lost an act once because of the billing order. And day before the festival was ready to announce and had to pull the artist because they wanted to be billed above another one. So
I have heard some stories of stuff. I mean, even I know there was a concert, I think it was in Russia, between Metallica and Guns N' Roses were performing. I think something happened to the Metallica frontman. He got, like, there was fire and he got injured. And then Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses, was just like, I'm not ready to go on. I can't go on. And like, there was like, I think some people died. Like, it was really full on. So
it's hilarious, that whole world. I've had to. A hip hop artist wouldn't go on stage unless we paid him his balance in cash on the night, and we're all running to ATMs, like maxing out our limits, trying to solve the problem, and it's wild
stuff you can't plan for, I guess.
Yeah. So festival attendance, that we expected something to happen. We had a steady growth trajectory to that point. We thought we had a lineup that was similar on par to the year prior, and unfortunately, it just didn't play out that way. And it was this decline of everything all at once that was the real challenge. And I think the scary thing about it all is we expected something to happen, it didn't, and we were over leveraged in every single way. That there was no safety net. We hadn't had a major loss really at that. Minor bits and pieces, but nothing overly significant. So I think there was definitely a degree of arrogance at play in what we were doing, and large part driven by myself.
Yeah,
and I think that comes to the lesson in the loss. At that point in time, it was either pack up shop or try and salvage what was our core strength, which we weren't sure exactly what that was, and so we reduced the head count of the team to about 10 to 12 people at the time.
Must have been horrible.
It was very tough. Very, very, very tough. Very tough. And there was a mix of that million loss was mix of ATO, tax payments. It was a mix of supplier invoices and things. And I just remember at the time thinking, if I liquidate or fold this, then all these people that have given our time are not going to get paid. So made the hard decision to go without salary for a year. We distilled what our core strength was, which was actually the agency. We were great at creating digital brands. We'd been creating content and running paid campaigns. Like day one, you could spend on Facebook. We were doing that. So we had this core competency, and the agency space was service payment versus risk and reward in a way. So pivoted stability, but that also has its own risk. A little bit more, not much more, but a little bit more. Made that jump. Decided to focus on the agency and the media arm because they were complementary. And I believed in what we were doing so much, went without pay for the year, paid back all the supplier invoices that were due over that period, and liaised with them, and since then have gone on to achieve things that I'm very proud of within the agency. So was very happy that was the decision.
Ethics. I hope you still have a lot of those people that were around you that know what you went through and they're sticking by,
There's a couple.
That's good. A lot of this moves into perfectly, we're just about to talk about mindset and thinking differently. So obviously mindset plays a huge role when you're growing a business, and there was a lot of challenges there. So I guess what's one mindset shift that really helped you make the transition from side hustle to sustainable business? I mean, we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but just the mindset that you've had to have to just, like you said, think about other people first. And how does that all work?
Yeah, so mindset, hey, well, you have to be resilient doing this. You have to be adaptable. And I am a big believer in doing right where I can by the people I work with, especially in Perth, and knowing that we were a local business and Perth is small and all of those things. I wanted to make sure I didn't burn any bridges along the way. But starting your own business is a roller coaster. It is several times in the same day a roller coaster. And as the owner or founder, the buck really does stop with you. So I think being ready for things not to go your way, and how you respond to those situations, and what you're willing to do in those moments. And everyone's circumstance is different. I was fortunate. I was, 26, 27. I could move home with my parents for a year and not have to pay rent for that period of time or anything. So I just had to sacrifice a little bit. The other one, I think, what was I going to jump into? The roller coaster, the resilience. I think also for me, what got me through is being able to disconnect is something that I think is hugely important. And everyone's disconnection is different. But for me at the time, I love my anime. I've got Hunter shirt on right now. I love my video games.
What do you like playing?
I'm a competitive Pokemon player.
Oh, nice.
I've participated in a couple of regional and world championships.
Damn.
Got my peak rank up at 560 in the world, in one of the
my furthest knowledge of Pokemon, because I used to play a lot when I was a kid, but I kind of got to the point where you used to like EV train the Pokemon.
Oh yes.
But then I know there's probably so much more to it.
I'm glad you know about the EV training.
I know a bit of it.
It's deep. It's like surface level simple, but when you get to the competitive sphere, it's more deep than any RPG I've experienced. So disconnection. Important. And my partner and I talk about this a lot. She'll be like, "Oh, aren't you stressed about this or that?" I'm like, no, the mind is off it now. Like I can't let it seep in every moment. I meditated a lot at the time, journaled a lot. I tried to develop a lot of mental health practices that helped me compartmentalize things and separate myself when it was the time to do so. Sometimes that fails. Sometimes it bleeds in still, and you have a restless night. But a lot of time during that period, that year of trying to strengthen myself mentally and learn how to separate and whatnot, and also just be, I guess, appreciate yourself for the effort that you're doing. Yeah, I think that's really important. Like, as long as you're trying your best and you've tried your best, then you can't really be disappointed in the outcome, or you haven't really failed. And it is only over when you say it's over, really. And there's been plenty of times since then that those calls were considered. Like, following that was COVID. We were, as an agency, 90% of our clients were event clients, and that all went away as well during COVID. So we had to make a big pivot again into who we were servicing as an agency. Then the borders opened and things got rocky again for us a little bit then. So it has been a wild ride, but I've enjoyed the highs and the lows. And I guess lessons are, be ready for things not to go your way, be ready to be resilient, and learn how to separate yourself when you can to get what fills your cup. Did I answer the question?
No, perfect. We actually have some questions from the crowd, so thank you guys for asking questions, and do ask some if you want to, and we'll send them through. So, how did you manage risk when starting out? That one's from Tim.
How did we manage risk? So starting out, obviously, wasn't overly concerned with risk. We were young. We wanted to push forward, but now, how do we manage risk? I think it's really important to be smart about your spending and your budgeting and your forecasting. You need to make sure you're checking your variance and reports against your budget and your actuals, and really try and leave as much cash in the business as possible. And cash flow. I wish that was something that was, maybe they did emphasize it at uni, but I maybe I didn't pay enough attention. But cash flow is such a massive thing. It can make or break any situation. So I think knowing what you're willing to risk, and like I mentioned, I sold my car to fund things. I was willing to go all in, but the modern or the learned version of me now would say always be thinking about that cash position, always make sure you're protected, and that you can weather a storm, and you're not over leveraged doing 20 different ideas at once. Don't do that.
Did you ever have any thoughts to buy the car back? to come full circle?
I got a pretty cool 1985 like BMW convertible at the time.
Nice.
Had the sheepskin, the sheep fur, seats, and it was this cool bower. So I was happy being like, that was the indie phase. We were all wearing whatever we were wearing back then. And so I was content.
Very good. I guess momentum. So for all the people listening, what's one thing for people tuning in today you could tell, and obviously people, everyone's at different stages, but one thing you feel like you could tell to the masses to help them build momentum in their business?
Okay, build momentum. Momentum is definitely important. It's you need traction. You need people to be aware of what you're doing. And I think a lot of founders can be obsessed with product, which is good. You need to be obsessed with product. You need to, or service. You need to continually iterate. And never stagnate, because the world isn't stagnant. But I think making sure you're paying attention to your audience and you're aware of who your audience is, and that is really the vehicle to growth and marketing. Listening. You can think that this feature is the coolest feature in the world of a platform or an app or a service, but your users may never use it. And so if you're harping on about that, obviously it's not resonating. So I think if you're looking to start up or you're already in motion, we at the agency with the partners, we advise, setting some audience personas, understanding who they are, their ages, what their interests are, what are their pain points and pleasure points, and how are we solving that? And that can really help start to shape how you communicate with them. So if you imagine your audience personas, and say there's 4 of them, there might be a entrepreneur that's 20 to 35 and is a nomadic lifestyle. There might be a fitness person, or whatever you imagine these people to be. And then if you look at what your key sells are and your USPs and unique selling propositions, what do we do differently? What are our key sells? And then it's how do we tailor that messaging to what will resonate with the audience? And connecting those dots is the start of organic, social, paid digital campaigns and growth. So I think to build momentum, understanding your audience is important.
I really like that, just because we do the exact same thing at Parlay. And I'm in the discovery team at the moment, and it always starts with those buyer personas. It's like, we need to start here first. Any marketing that talks to the wrong people is expensive. So who are we talking to and what are we trying to tell them? Right. So
I think
I love that you brought that up.
At the start of the journey, we were our target market. So it was really kind of easy to or maybe it was a fluke to appeal to a segment of the market. But as we started doing more and we became less the market ourselves, it's probably one of the lessons through it all was really trying to understand that up front. And it is so critical. The amount of businesses that come to us and don't have that worked out. Audience number 1.
Awesome. Across the journey, and obviously the journey's still going, talk about fear and anxiety. That's a question from Kieran. Thank you, Kieran. If you had those emotions, how did you deal with them? And how can people deal with them? What's your advice?
I love that question, to be honest. That is, all right. So I don't think I've ever let go of my imposter syndrome. I have delivered campaigns for NVIDIA. We worked with Gage Roads for 6 years, and Brown's Dairy and Hunt and Brew, and just so many amazing brands that we've worked with through the agency, and made a music video with Skrillex that's nearly 200 million views. And I've never let go of the imposter syndrome. And I think there is a power in using your anxiety but not being crippled by it. So I think if you have self-doubt, if there are things you're worrying about and being self-critical about, that is a great tool to assess what may be wrong or may need reflection. But if you find that that is stifling you, you really do need to have a switch to kind of turn it off and get forward and move forward. And I think so how do you actually develop that switch, and how have I developed that switch? I know that my meditation and journaling practices aren't quite where they were at all, but I have developed a set of tools and things that help me deal with it. So the gratitude journal, look up gratitude journal. It's a really great way to keep things in focus, and a 5-minute journal, 5-minute gratitude journal. It's a few years since I've revisited that. But 3 positive affirmations, 3 things you appreciate, 3 things that you would like to achieve that would make your day good, and then a positive affirmation statement. Come back at the end of the day. What 3 things did you do well? What 3 things could you do better?
That's the book. I've read it. Hugh Van Cuylenburg, I think his name is. I forgot the name of the book.
I picked it up somewhere else, I think.
It's a very good book. If anyone knows in the comments, they can. I just read it a couple of years ago. It's very good, but similar thing. Yeah,
it helps a lot. It helps a lot. It helped me a lot to, and since then I think I've developed that internally now. That rationale. Another great book that changed my life was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
Horrible title, like doesn't sound too appealing, but a very, it changed my life both personally and professionally. And one of the things I always circle back to when I am feeling that anxiety and stress is there's like imagine 2 circles. One circle is what you can control, and the other circle is what you can't control. And if it's in the what you can't control circle, you should pay it no mind. You want to be aware of external factors. And like I said, you can turn these fears into action, but the only thing you can do is what you can control. So rather than spend too much time on those externals or what you can't, try and zero in on what you can control. And sometimes when the anxiety is too much and everything's too much, it's just one step at a time. And I tell myself that if I've got a million tasks and I don't know where to start and I'm getting flustered in my head or thoughts, it's all right, just they say to do the hardest task at the start of your day and whatnot. And I do believe in that sort of using your brain power that way, but sometimes you just need to knock something off easily and feel good that you've done it. It's like they say making your bed every day, as silly as that is, and some people do it and don't. It's just that I've done this for myself, started my day that way, and I put myself forward and accomplished a task. Habits. So, if you're struggling to get started, think about what you can control. And if there's too much in your head, just start with the simplest, easiest thing, knock it off, and then move to the next one. But every person's different. Read a lot of books around self-development and whatnot would be advice as well to find what works for you.
Awesome. That book was The Resilience Project.
The Resilience Project.
It's very, very good book. And actually, Bodhi, our founder, I think at the time he bought one for everyone in the business, and he was like, "Everyone read it." And it was good because I read it straight away. I gave it to my wife, I gave it to my brother, and I was like, "You guys need to read this book." Like it just perspective, right? Changes the way you think.
I did the same thing for 7 Habits. Bought it for all the staff and made them read it.
The best, going back to what you said about worrying, and the best one I've heard is that worrying's like a rocking chair because it'll give you something to do, but it won't move you. You'll just be sitting there rocking away, going nowhere.
I love that one. Another one for me is if you're worrying about what might happen, you are paying the tax twice. Like you're feeling the pain now for something that hasn't happened. And then if it happens down the line, you are feeling it again. So lots of you'll read something that resonates with you as we've been discussing. And I think having that in your head and learning to lean on it can help a lot.
You mentioned before tasks and kind of knocking off the biggest task, but I guess some tools, like what are some of the tools or like a system, resource or platform that's made a difference for you in how you run your business, or really one that you're like, damn, this tool's really powerful?
Cool. Obviously the AI revolution is here. So be actively engaged in everything you can there constantly. So that there's several tools around that, but I would say find the one that works for you and be at the front of that. We've always used a project management tool called Asana.
Yep.
Love Asana. Big advocate for Asana. It's very malleable. When we were starting up, there weren't many like workflow systems and tools all those times ago. And Asana was one of the first. So probably have a bit of bias and whatnot, and there may be better tools available, but for us, it's been the forever thing. Other than that, I think something that's changed my business in the last 2 years has been a tool called Scribe, which makes it very easy to develop standard operating procedures.
Cool.
Basically, sign up to the platform. So if you're growing a business and you're at that point where you need to be training your team or onboarding them with different tasks and actions in the business, essentially sign up for Scribe, hit the Chrome extension, go, starts, anytime you then click on your screen, it takes a screenshot.
Awesome.
And it highlights where you've clicked, annotates its own kind of note on what you did.
Yeah.
And you just click away and do the action that you want to train the staff, and it puts it in a nice user flow. You can go through and then edit and add notes as you go. But I remember having to screenshot and then place in a doc, and then things would change on platforms, and because everything's always changing, and it was just this mission impossible to keep our SOPs updated. But Scribe makes it so easy. You can just jump into that Scribe, go to that one step, bang, it's in there. So
Perfect.
Finding tools like that, and as you scale your business, having everyone aligned and knowing what to do is really important. And so Scribe, Asana, we use Slack, and whatever AI tool that works for you.
Yeah. I want to talk about people. I feel like a lot of people watching, and I guess, on the journey, usually say like a lot of mum and dad businesses, you get to a point where things are good, they're steady, it's managing okay. In order for it to grow more, you need help. You need someone else, you need people you can trust. How important do you feel like people are? And explain some of the challenges you've had when maybe you get the people wrong, or there's a misalignment, or just even making that step itself.
Yeah, that's a great question and a critical factor. I don't think I have this right yet. There have been moments where everyone has been so aligned and so everything's felt seamless and like it wasn't difficult and all these other bits, and that's often where it's felt the best. And there's been times where it's been very tough, and we've not had the right people or the right alignment, and it's been difficult. I think there's a few things that I would note. So remember reading this one, that you've got A players, B players, and C players. Mm-hmm. And the worst ones are the B players.
Right.
Because the C players, performance reviews and hit plans and things, it's obvious that they're not performing and delivering, so you can manage that. The B players, where it's just enough, that their performance is just enough, that is the toughest one, because you don't have cause to make a change, and you can't also. Sometimes they're harder to develop into A players for whichever reason. So I remember hearing that and being like, "Whoa, that was a light bulb moment for me at the time of my experience." And I think the other bit is, and this is probably the toughest. You generally recruit when you need it. Like, someone's moved on and I need to fill this spot, or we're growing, I need to recruit all these other people. And it's probably been when we're in those rushed moments that we've not been able to find the right person. I think the best way to hire, if I could do it again, or if I had the ability to do this with limited time, would be have a constant kind of conversational list of people that you're aware of, that are doing things that you're engaging with, that you're making time with outside of your business, that maybe it'll be 18 months time before you're ready to fill a role like that person has. But keep those comms lines open. So I think beware of that. Beware of recruitment in general. It can make or break a lot of situations.
Mm-hmm.
and try your best to not knee-jerk or rush through those steps. If you need to get, some of the things we've implemented is submitting work prior, like asking them to do things and seeing what comes back, and paying a contractor rate to them or something like that for that to come through.
Yeah.
Or develop a set of systems and tools that help you judge that hire.
Yeah.
Definitely have, if you have just yourself, then you're relying on yourself, but where possible, others to be involved in the interview process to give their opinion, so you can eliminate as much bias as possible. Yeah, I think that is most of what I would say, but it's tough. I still make the mistake sometimes, so.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, awesome. We're at the point now where we're going to open up some more questions from the audience, as well as there was some pre-submitted questions, which I'd like to ask you as well.
Cool.
But we've got a couple here from the audience. What's the best way to start any business with a small budget, do you think?
Any small business with a small budget. Poof.
Hard, right? If everyone knew the secrets, we'd all be doing it.
100%. I think small budgets is a really interesting comment, because I've found that some of the best projects we've delivered have been on the tightest budgets.
Interesting.
And I think when you have a lot of constraints, you need to be extra creative or strategic to solve those problems. It's a forced, it's forced to solve it that way. So I think being limited by budget, how would I approach it if I had a very small budget with somebody? I think there is, if we take product or delivery of product out of it, so we're talking maybe that exists or it's a service, and that's not factoring into your budget, and it's purely I need to make sales, whichever they are, then I would take two approaches. One would be, once I've understand my audience, once I understand what these key sells and USPs are, what's the grassroots approach? Is there Facebook groups, Reddit forums? Where is this community existing that I can drive growth myself by my actions? If I do this, then will I get a lead or an inquiry or a click that doesn't cost me anything? So thinking through those avenues of where communities exist that you may be able to seed what you're doing. And then second is just applying a scalable paid social campaign. Really, I'm more favorable now to broader marketing strategies when the budgets are there to do them, but I will always advocate for spend on digital. It's trackable, it's measurable, you can scale it, you can see what performs and doesn't. Video content is generally the cheapest on feeds to raise awareness. And then you want some sort of conversion driver ad as well. So I would advise trying to go the grassroots. What can you do for free that might get you traction? And then what can you do? Might be going to uni and handing out flyers, like wherever the community is, how do you be present for them that doesn't cost you anything but your time? And then the other one is have an awareness layer and a conversion layer to a digital campaign. There are plenty of resources online to learn about the platforms and the basics, and it may be worth investing in that to skill yourself up. And at some point you may need to go external for that stuff, but everything is I was talking to a client literally yesterday about this. They're investing in a tracking tool, and they're investing in all these things, SEO, to try and drive as much conversion as possible. And their budget that they planned to spend on the campaign was not too huge. And, when I discussed it with them, I was like, look, everything you're saying, yes, that is worthwhile to do, but measured against what you're actually planning to spend. What is the low-hanging fruit approach of this that's a better balance of time and investment? So I think that simple awareness layer and simple conversion layer is how I would play it. Conversion ads are more expensive, so maybe it is just an awareness play and see how that goes, and then add the conversion stack after that. But everything demands a different approach, really. So I hope that's given some inspiration on how to approach that problem.
We got a question from Nadia from the chat. So she's asking, what if I have more than one area of interest to take on as a side gig how do I do it without overwhelming myself?
Oh,
I feel like you'd be perfectly placed to answer this.
I do, because I guess that's one of the lessons, right?
Yeah.
Is so I was studying engineering and commerce and weird arts guy as well, and so a bit of everything. I love physics and science and data, and I love creativity, and I used to be in a band and draw and things like that with my arts, and then there was the business side and capitalist side in me as well. So very broad interest set. And I felt like what we were doing at the time was all in the arts category: events, record label. You book artists for the event. So I know what bands are happening and what people are into. So that crosses over. And we're a music media website. So I also have insights into what bands are getting traction on our website and everything. And everything felt like it was connected. But the reality is that it was more problems in more spots that I needed to solve all the time. And it reached a threshold. So I have I'm consulting for a business at the moment, and this is in the same business, and they're about to launch their website. They've got a key product feature that is the key purpose of this platform, but they have always had this sort of second stream, and it's been my advice to put the second stream on hold and focus on the first one. I think if you're not giving something your absolute focus, then you're increasing your chances of failure. So when you try and decide what you are going to focus on, I think the optimist or the happy version, or maybe the naive version of me would say, do the one that makes you most happy, because you want to make sure that your days are fulfilled. But the realist in me says, which of your interests has the biggest gap and opportunity? What is the audience not being served from one of those interest sets that you could fill the gap of? Because in every business, it's about finding that gap and fulfilling a need. Because if you fulfill a need, then you've got a product or a service. So I would definitely suggest not making my mistake and taking on too much, and trying to either find the one that you are most passionate about, that really lights your fire, or find the one that has the biggest market fit and identifies a gap in the market. There would be my advice. And the realist in me says go for the gap, but I know the younger version of me went for the thing that made me most happy. So
yes. I guess let's say with this one, other than AI, because I know that's an easy answer, but what trends or shifts do you think entrepreneurs need to keep an eye on right now? I mean, AI is obviously the biggest one.
It is the biggest one, isn't it? It's definitely the one that keeps me up the most at night. I think trends and shifts. All right. So it's a big question. We had a moment in time where there was limited media, a few channels on TV, a few bits of paper and print, and it was easy to get mass awareness by placement in a single spot. Then we sort of transitioned to this early stages online world where, ranking with Google and Facebook was the one. If you were on Facebook, you could reach a mass market. And I think the shift that's happened more recently in the last sort of 5 years maybe is absolute fragmentation of audiences. People are watching maths on TV, or they're watching it online now, and they're getting served different ads in different spots. They're on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Discord or Netflix or whichever. They're in Reddit channels or X or Threads. And I feel like we are definitely the echo chamber that we've been talking about for so long is real and whatnot. But I'd say again, we're circling back to audience, right? So be very aware of your audience, where they live and engage, and that will change. It won't stay stagnant. So be aware of where that's shifting and moving, and be ready to tailor your approaches. That would be one bit. The other trend is something that we're all probably familiar with now, but that's just the work landscape has changed.
Yeah,
we don't all have to be in an office anymore. Our team is hybrid. We do 3 days at the office, 2 days work from home. We offer there's a better push towards work-life balance, which is fantastic but challenging. So our business has a program we implemented when we came out of COVID. We called it the Lifesaver Days, LSD for short acronym for you.
Nice.
And essentially everyone gets a Friday off every fortnight. Cool. Because we wanted to acknowledge that in agency life, there is sometimes harder moments and crunch moments and a bit of overtime that happens. And we wanted to provide that opportunity for the team to be able to step back and focus on themselves for a day.
Yeah. So
be aware of the changing landscape of employment and what people want from their employment and expect from it.
Yeah.
Be laser focused on the way audiences are shifting and where your audience is engaging. And just to finish on the AI that we weren't going to venture into, that is going to radically transform the world in every single way to a point that we don't know. And I think I heard this in a podcast and it stuck with me, and I'll let everyone think their own AI stuff through. But they basically said humans are horrible at assessing exponential growth of something.
Yeah,
we are good when something's linear, but it's like we are good at the present or looking at the past. And if we're thinking about AI and its definite exponential trajectory, we're all looking at examples of the past and looking at how we're using it now. And by the time we turn our heads forward, the vertical surface of the exponential curve has arrived. So I guess without getting into the impact it will have, I really do want to emphasize that if you're not using it and pushing it to its limits now, that you're going to be caught off guard.
It's hard to get in the right frame of mind for it. I think one of the things I heard on a podcast the other day was, almost think of the revolution that could happen. Before cars came along, one of the things that society was really worried about, and it was a big issue, was horse manure, because everyone was riding around in horse and carriages, right? And then all of a sudden, when cars came along, that was gone. It just wasn't a thing. So just trying to take a step back and look at it may be a revolution of sorts. So what are the things that, think outside the box? Where are the opportunities that aren't right in front of your face? And I think that kind of goes into what we're all about here in this series, is try and think outside of the box a little bit.
Think differently always. Think differently always.
I had one more question for you. And this one's a little bit more, obviously you've had an amazing journey. What would you like yourself and your businesses, when you're long gone and no longer around, what would you like yourself and your businesses to be remembered for? And, what's that legacy? Too soon?
No, it's something I actually, I think through a lot. All right. Business and personal and all of this, right? And I know this is an entrepreneur series, but again, from 7 Habits, I'm going to keep flying that book's flag. One of the exercises that they ask you to do, or one of the examples, is they go, close your eyes, imagine it's your funeral. What's being said at your eulogy? What do you imagine someone to say about you? And it's crazy, whenever I do that exercise or think that through, it's never about my business. It's about the type of person that I would want to be remembered as. And for me, that is someone that was a man of their word, was there for people when they needed me to be there for them, and was there for my family and friends. And so I think those feelings are how I would also feel about my business. Like now in marketing, we are responsible for people's livelihoods. So I guess I'd want the legacy to be that our work was impactful, that we made an impact on the WA market and what's happening in WA, and helped establish some great brands and create opportunity for others. And it's weird because we have achieved that in a lot of ways already, but I'd like to continue doing that and be known for doing that and helping people achieve their dreams and what they were trying to do.
Awesome. Yeah, it's like that thing when you might be out with family members and you see something, you see like in your case, like a Gage Roads beer, and you're like, I'm part of that. You know what I mean? I'm part. Yeah, it's very special moments like that. That brings us to the end. Alex, huge thanks for sharing so openly. Thank you for your time and, giving us a look behind the curtain at what it really takes to build a business, and obviously your personal stories. And thank you all for tuning in and being part of the Murdoch Business alumni community. There's lots more to come. There's plenty in the works, so please keep sticking around, and we want to see how great we can make this thing.
Can I add one more?
Yes,
thing?
yes, go for it.
It's just kind of popped into my head. I'm sorry, everyone's probably like, get out, Al, idiot. Another kind of lesson or bit of advice that I would give that is one of the values of our business, and I haven't really drawn this through my story, is just what you show up every day. Do things like this. You never know who is going to come back in your life, and we call it synchronicity, where the spider web of things that happen by being active and being open and being transparent and building meaningful relationships may develop into something down the line. You're not doing it in a way that is fake or false. You are genuinely showing up and trying to build a genuine connection, but always have an open mind and engage actively in opportunities or with people that you meet along the way. That was what led to booking a Skrillex gig, to getting the Skrillex video, to then doing a video for Illy, and we were drinking beers until 1 a.m. and he thought he could match me, but he couldn't, which led to the marketing manager was there, which led to the funding of the label. And like, you just never know how the web of what you do is going to come back. So I guess that, I think, is really important advice. Just be yourself, show up, take opportunities when they're there, and try and build genuine connections. Sorry to add that after the outro. It's
kind of like the plot line of Yes Man.
Yes,
no, don't
100%.
be no man. You got to say yes to things.
That's also got me in trouble, being too much of a yes man. So, but
balance.
Show up. That would be the note.
Awesome, very good. Guys, if we didn't get to your question today, don't stress. Alex has kindly agreed to answer those via email after the session. Keep an eye on your inbox. You have. Sorry, Alex.
That's for the outro. I get you.
Big thanks to Dilate for the room, the tech and support behind today's event. The room is available. If anyone would like to use it, come see us in Freo. And if anyone wants to chat digital, hit up Made in the Pile, hit up Dilate. We're always more than happy to help. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you're watching the recording later, thanks for catching up. We hope you're walking away with a few new ideas and a whole lot more motivation. We're very excited for the next few workshops, and we will be seeing you soon. I may not be here for the next workshop as my wife is having a baby, so there may be another facilitator, but see you all soon. Thank you so much.